Guys, welcome to Zoom. We're here with an incredible 36 participants and the guest of honor, Livan Beck. This is going to be a little bit different than the normal Q&As that we do on Zoom. There are going to be some questions we ask Livan. We want crowd engagement. There's some people here that I know personally have gone through some things. Maybe I could ask Livan to see what he would have done in that situation. And without too much further ado, I mean, I always love when he does his Q&A. He actually didn't have a training this month, but give him his praise. He's rocking and rolling. I say 12, 13. He does a lot of properties in the Keys. It could be more in sales volume. And not only that, congratulations to him for being a partner now with Lifestyle. He's had his own branch in Homestead that, God willing, opens. And I look up because I had to look to God to help me on this because I want to open this thing already. It should be done. The everything is 95% done. The computer's got to get installed and the design, I think, tomorrow. So hopefully Jennifer Abreu comes in as well so she can talk about it. But Livan.
I'm here.
Oh, hey, Booski. Okay, so welcome. So Booski as well as a partner in that office, but you're not the main person here, Booski, so I'm trying to steal his thunder, all right? But I'm glad you're here. But Livan, just briefly, because not everybody here knows you, some of them do. A little bit of how long you've been in the business, how long you've been rocking it. Some people don't need to know how, not recent, but how fast you did this. Because not like, hey, Livan's been here for 20 years. You're probably 2 years old 20 years ago. But he hasn't been in the business more than 4 years because he's 22. So Livan, go ahead, take the ball. I'm gonna spotlight you.
George. Thank you, George. Appreciate that. So yeah, I got my license back in end of 2018. So I just wrapped up year 3. I am walking into my year 4 right now. So I would say, the background, I don't know if you didn't attend my first Q&A. I got my real estate license because my parents actually decided to sell their home, and they were those type of people that wanted to sell by owner. And we put it up for sale by owner, and just like we do to those type of people, we had a million phone calls. But we did end up selling it by owner, and I really, really liked the process, and that's what engaged me to get my real estate license. My first year was not the best, but I did sell 5 homes. I was 19. I was very lucky in the sense that I had a good sphere that was helping me and start the business. Definitely, my high school friends at that age point, they're not buying homes. Nonetheless, 20 nor 21 nor now. In fact, maybe now we're doing rentals for my high school friends. So I've had a very good sphere, and that's what's helped me, get started. And that's pretty much, going into year 4.
All right. So, and honestly, his first year, second year, it wasn't like the traditional way of going into full time. And guys, somebody had a great question. Tally asked a great question. Guys, ask the questions in chat. Like, ask them away, because I'm only gonna have a few questions, and and then there might be some stupid questions. Like, question stupid number 1: do you like pineapple on your pizza? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Oh my
Absolutely.
God.
No, 100%.
Do you like
All right, the Zoom meeting is over.
Second and big question, I know you're going to get this one wrong. If you pick that one for sure, do you like raisins in your picadillo? Oh, okay. All right. You saved yourself. 50-50. All right, good. All right.
Definitely not.
Stupid question 1 and 2 out the way, guys. I had those written down. That was probably my first 2 questions I had on this thing. But I have a question right now that I see a lot of them. Gabe's on here. Gabe's 18 years old. Miami Lakes has a lot of the younger agents. It just happens to be that they fall in there. What would you say, right? Because you're right. Luckily, you won't have like friends and family people you went to high school or people you played outside in the park are not calling you right now to buy homes. If you're lucky, you may get an efficiency or a rental in 2 or 3 years. That's what you should get. Because your story could be different than everybody else. What would you suggest to everyone that's early in their 20s or under 20? What should they do now? Like, what is their plan of action?
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky in a sense, again, with my sphere. And I would have to say it's because of my social media. I do post, I wouldn't say necessarily on my feed, but I do post on my story a lot ever since I first got it. When I first got licensed, I blasted everybody, every single person on my text and my contact list on my phone. I made sure that they knew that I was a real estate agent, and then a constant reminder on social media. People are seeing that. So I would say that for sure through social media was the way to go, and how I got started with my first clients.
All right.
And I think the constant posting, a constant reminder of people seeing that you are a realtor, you do real estate, they will contact you if they have that constant reminder. Now, I do think that there needs to be a little bit of a mix, that if you're not just spamming the heck out of them with real estate, with a little bit of personal posts, and I think that's the best way for sure.
All right. Now, here's a question now that works more, and I kind of will elaborate. It's been working tremendously. We did it in the West Gables. Actually, I had a meeting with David Gonzalez, and we don't have time for it now. But what do you, one thing is say, oh, use your social media, do text message. What are you messaging them? What are you actually texting people, especially for the younger agents? What are you texting?
If I'm going to reach out, and not doing a mass text, I would reach out on a one-on-one basis and have a conversation with them. Don't even bring up real estate. Bring up how are they doing, how's the family, etc. Talk about their lives, your lives, etc. And then bring up real estate. I don't think that you should start the text off by saying, I'm a realtor, contact me, etc. And same thing when you're out networking or you're at a restaurant and you meet somebody new, in a non-work setting, I would advise to do that same as well. Have a regular conversation, and then if what you do for a living comes up, I've definitely gotten leads off of that for sure.
Okay. All right. That's good.
Having an organic conversation with somebody.
All right.
And not starting it off by, hey, I sell real estate, etc.
It's just, and to elaborate on that, not to move on to the next question, which we have some good questions in the chat. Guys, it's better to ask if they could help you, or if they're looking to buy a month after talking to them. Talk to them, see how you could help them. Go time without asking for anything, and you'll get it more to you. If you start off the get-go, Zito and a bunch of people that have taught the text messaging way, I've seen it firsthand. Just take it slower, slow it down. Just try to connect and talk to them. So thank you, Livan, for sharing that. You have an incredible question. Goes, do your clients ever doubt you because you're so young, and how do you respond to them?
I wouldn't say that they doubt me, but I do get asked that question often, how old I am. I wouldn't say very often. In the beginning, definitely. But with real estate, I have aged with the stress. But I would answer that yes, I am. I normally don't like to say exactly my age, but I do answer saying, even though I am younger, I do have the experience, a transactional experience. At least in my case, I'm probably more experienced than agents have been in the business 10 years just because of the volume. But that's just on my, case by case. I would probably suggest you to say something the same. I wouldn't say lie, but I guess fake it till you make it a little bit, in a sense. And they really shouldn't, you are licensed, it doesn't matter how old you are. I don't think that should really play an impact, even though sometimes it does. That's my opinion. But I have gone through that many, many, many times.
And what they say is, guys, and to elaborate, confidence is key. He may be young, but since he knows the business, the more you're passionate about this business, the more successful you are in this business, you portray it with your confidence. So age is just a number. That's what I tell the young girls when I meet them. Age is just a number. I'm 38. Nah. So, all right, let's see. Drop question. Okay, Wendy has a great question. How do you, Livan Beck, and you had asked me a text earlier, is it okay if I use another CRM and I share it with, and that's okay because I have news for them that I'll announce at the end, housekeeping, so stay tuned to the end. I have some major announcements. But how do you continue your follow-up and stay on top of your clients? How do you follow up and stay on top of your clients?
So, this year, starting 2021, is when I'm finally implementing a CRM into my business, going into year 4. Before, I would have everything written down on a notebook, but it's gotten to a point and at a volume that I just can't keep up anymore. So I did start, and I got, for everyone on my team, Follow Up Boss. It's a really good, efficient system. I do not think that we are utilizing it to its maximum. And we just discussed that in the last meeting that I had with them, that I want to do a demo, but there's so much on that CRM that we could do with, there's drip campaigns that's automated. It texts them automated, it emails them automated. On a 2-month campaign, you could put tasks, you could put your deals in there, and I think it's a fantastic CRM. So that's how I have been following up. Every time I get a lead, whether I'm driving or what I'm doing, I stop for a second and I input it onto the phone, so I never ever lose a lead. And then I know I need to follow up with this. I can set up a task reminder, follow up in 3 days, follow up in a week, and like that.
I love that. And another thing, guys, go ahead. Who was talking?
No, it was me. That's what I do.
So, and it's also great, guys, if you have any Zillow leads, Facebook leads, or you could put routing and sorting. I actually just made that shift with our recruiting team, and I'm spending for 10 users. It's been the Zillow team always used it, and now the recruiting team is using it. It is a great CRM. I gotta admit, it's a great CRM. So, okay.
Yeah, that's what I do for following up. I highly recommend that.
And Chris and Mo had the same kind of question. And their question was to you. And when this was funny, I was with someone, I'm not gonna mention the name. Somebody goes, you know what? Yeah, Livan sells all this because he has an incredible upbringing. He came from money. I was like, hold the phone. Livan was raised probably 2 to 3 blocks away in Honey Hill. I was born in Carroll City, right next to Honey Hill. So he did not come from a big upbringing, So the question is, what is your source for lead generation outside of yours? Like they're asking, what are your best lead generated tactics?
So yeah, for sure, to tackle what you said, we're definitely not silver spoon. So it's not like, all my business is like from wealthy family or wealthy family friends. Nothing, not at all. That's definitely not the case. My sphere of influence is honestly is the best lead generation source. Just in fact, one of my last listings, I've had this person, now client, added as a friend on Facebook, which was one of my sister's friends. I didn't even know her personally, but I've had her for years when I was in high school. And she sees what I post, and she knows I'm in real estate, and she hit me up the other day. Hey, we tried to sell our townhouse last year, but we took it off the market. It didn't go too well. We want to try again, and boom. Just because of that, because they see my social media, because they see that, I got the listing on the spot. I didn't have to interview or nothing like that. The vast majority of my leads, I would say 99% of my deals, are organic. This year is when I'm finally implementing and pretty heavily into paid marketing. I am into Zillow right now. We are starting Facebook ads. We are starting Google ads with the SEO and all that good stuff. That's being implemented now. Zillow's already in play. No closed sales from that yet. But I will say that the 99% of my business has been my sphere of influence. I will say too, last year I did close 3 sales. It generated like 35,000 in GCI off of EDDM. And the EDDM I maybe spent last year, I don't know, maybe $1,500, 2,000, which is on the lower end, and it generated an amazing.
And a few for me, right? And a few for me.
Yes.
So thank you. I didn't pay him for that EDDM plug. And as you guys know, take care of you on that end. Plug Jen Booski, right? Let's see if Booski's still there.
Yep. Lifestyle title of New World.
Yeah. Hey, that's your partner now, Livan.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I will say, and it's my fault too. I wish I did have, and I am working on that. I do want to have that on more automation. That as soon as we sell the listing or as soon as we sell the house, that it automatically, like, we just send the address and they just bill me. So I am trying to work on that. So every time it's consistent. Last year I closed 3 sales, and I was inconsistent as can be, here and there, but that's it. No, not every single EDDM is going to be successful, but all it takes is one to hit, and it will pay for the whole year and more. So it definitely is worth it.
And to add on that, to Livan, the great thing about it is if you even if you don't have to do it on every sale, because your sales vary from there. Livan will sell a house in West Palm Beach and will sell a house in Key West, so it's very far. But you could pick a farm and just consistently drop mail in that area, and then when you door knock, reverse prospect, and everything, you're gonna get so much more business, and it's on autopilot. The more they see the frequency of the mail, that's why some of you guys, when you close a file, you're like, hey, I want my EDDM to go all over Hialeah. No, it's better if you pick a small neighborhood, 800 homes, and hit them multiple times, and to hit up 5,000 homes in one hit. So trust me, I spend easily 100 to 200. That's when we do our next one-on-one event. That's our big focus. But I spend $100,000 to $200,000 a year just on that, because I see the power of it. So great job on that, Livan. We got to make sure that's a consistent thing, and that's growth. So how do you get from 10, 12, 15 million to 20? You add that as a heavy investment, and that's an extra 5 mil. Rick Garcia did that as well. Rick Garcia took that science and made it automated, so that's what helps them own Pembroke Pines, and that little neighborhood that has those like townhouses that are like 250 to 330. He crushes that neighborhood. That's what EDDM will do. Also, on top of that, Livan, one of the things that I must admit that I think you do one of the things that I must admit you do very well is how you treat like your clients, how is friendship. I've seen you talk to people.
100%.
Could you elaborate a little bit how your relationship with your clients are?
So I think that's something that does maybe separate me. Like I do treat it as a business transaction, but I do try to create a personal relationship, not like best friend, nothing like that, but I do try to get to them on a personal level with my clients. I've gone to the extent of traveling before with the family. Like I really build a personal relationship with them. I add them all on social media. We always, touch base on all the special events. They always, are in my DMs just saying what's up. So I think having, treating it like obviously, again, it's a business transaction, but once it closes, I definitely, and throughout the deal, you definitely want to have that personal relationship, because without even asking for a referral, 90% of my clients will refer me somebody without even me asking, hey, when you can, or if you know anybody, let me know. I don't even have to ask for it. They generally want to help me. They want to see me keep growing. And I definitely think that, that's another good way of generating leads.
Here's a
lot of people, George, I'm sorry. A lot of people don't agree with that, to just keep it straight business. But I think it's been working for me, and having, on a personal level with the other clients.
Let me actually, all right. Let me see stories. Let me see, somebody asked a good question. All right, so Livan Beck was asked, and let's make this interactive. Let's share Livan Beck's Instagram here. Boom. All right, Livan Beck. They said, what do you put on your stories? How's your page? So, boom, he has a house. I think you need to post soon, Livan, another face. You got a house. You're getting good engagement. 120 likes. That's huge. Livan Beck and his jet ski never got invited, but it's okay. Tons of comment. One of the things let me see. Boom, I love it. The Beck group here.
I will say the team page is more active.
Oh yeah, you're actually right. You're right. Beck. You're right. But you need to focus on that one as well. The Beck group's here. Let me see the store. No story. You got to get on that. Just lease. You're getting good likes here. All right, so put that team picture on there. So people are asking about that. So, okay, how do you market your listings, Livan, aside from EDDM or your social media? Anything else you do?
I mean, I do something very strategic lately, and I feel like it's, I don't know, like the perfect to the T. So once we get a listing, I call my photographer. You need to do professional pictures on your listings. When I look at a listing that's like not mine, and my clients see it, like it's not attractive, I guarantee you it's the best investment you will do. And have a good one. I love mine. I'll plug her.
Plug her.
Yeah, definitely. She Heather Cruz, her Instagram is at Creative Digibox. I'll put it in the chat now. I use it for all my listings since day one. My first listing, we had a professional photographer, and she's been with me through the entire journey.
I tagged her right now in the chat, guys. So
Yeah, and again, she is absolutely the best. Anyways, so as soon as we get a new listing, I always go ahead and I do the timeline strategically, where I do the photo shoot on a Tuesday. The listing, I'll get the pictures either that night or the next day. Strategically, the listing will go live Wednesday or Thursday, and we're having an open house guaranteed Saturday or Sunday. And by that, and by the way, once we list it, I know a lot of buyers agents hate me for that, but we do not show it until Saturday and Sunday on the open house. That creates a lot of momentum and traction. And that weekend, the house is sold. That's how I market my listings. I do not send just listed EDDMs, because by the time I do that, the house is already sold or under contract. So that's what I do. Photographs on Tuesday, listing goes live Wednesday, Thursday, open house on the weekend. We're under contract Monday, Tuesday, and that's for me. That every single weekend this year. Thank God we have had so many new listings that we have gotten to do that exact same thing. Every weekend we've had an open house where it gets right after.
So you don't show it until Sunday?
We don't show it until Saturday or Sunday, whichever day we do the open house.
Okay.
That's me being a listing agent. Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
It's a great, for me, I feel like that's the best way to market your listings, and obviously it works, at least for me.
Livan, all right, let's get into something that we were just discussing in the leadership chat, and something that I'll share as well that happened with Yaritza. Well, as a listing is a lot easier because you got the offers, right? And we shared a good meme. I'm gonna put that meme later on today. Later on this training. But how are you right now making sure your offers being picked for the most part when you have the qualified client over the 20 other offers? What is the best tactic you're using right now?
Okay, I use different strategies, and not so much on the actual offer itself, but building a rapport with the listing agent is absolute key. Some listing agents are not very friendly. They don't want to, engage with you, which is fine. Step number one, once I know my client wants a listing, as a buyer's agent, I do a little homework and I find out who this listing agent is. I look them up on social media, on LinkedIn. I see if we have any mutual friends. That's step number one. Once I see who our mutuals are, I will see if I have any pool with any of those with any of those mutual friends that can, contact this listing agent and say, that we're the real deal, etc. And then I also do a little bit of homework, and I research the heck out of the seller. Again, I look them up everywhere. I want to see if I have any mutual friends with them. And for the most part, Miami is very small. Somebody knows somebody, whether they're distance or they're very close. I have been lucky in the sense that one of these last few ones, I've known somebody that knows somebody, or the seller and I have mutual friends, and we have gotten offer acceptances like that. Obviously that's just on the outside. Now on the offer, having George, you may not like this, but having a high EMD right now, a high deposit, is necessary, in my opinion. Especially if your client is FHA. You need to, I would put the 3.5% down payment that they have as the deposit. Now just make sure you cover them in the back end and that the lender is, on point with their qualification. So obviously whatever offer price, but having a high deposit, a 4-day inspection is necessary, or maybe even 3, depends. You just have to make sure that your inspector, when you're submitting an offer, is on standby, that they know. I'm gonna plug also MIA inspection with my boy Marvin and Lewis. They're always on point, and they're really good with my last minute notices. But as soon as we go under contract, we have the buyer put in the deposit right away, and the inspection is for the next day, latest. So that I will show you now how I do put my, when I send in, I'm gonna share a screen, George, okay?
Go ahead.
See.
And to be clear, I'm never against a higher EMD, earn your money's deposit. Remember, guys, it's just 5,000 or 10 depending, but you just get a manager's approval or review. And you better have 45 Google alerts and calendars before the escrow is hard, meaning that you could lose the escrow if your client doesn't close or extend the finance contingency, just to be clear. So
Yes, that's definitely important. If what did we say, George? Like over 10,000 or manager
yeah,
approval?
anything over 10,000, manager approval.
Okay, yeah, that's smart because you don't want to, you want to get your offer accepted, but you don't want to put your client in a bad situation where they're at risk of losing a lot of money. George, can you give
Oh
me?
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sorry, you can share now.
Yeah. So this is how I share. This is how I write my offers. This is just like a little screenshot. I was just sharing this with the team yesterday. This is one that I got my offer accepted. I write this little paragraph, and I also, I tweak it to, the clientele and, the situation. But, good afternoon, X, the listing agent. As promised, attached, you'll find my client's offer, the pre-qualification letter, and the DU. We're offering slightly above the asking price, a quick 5-day inspection, a 21-day financing period, and a 45-day closing. I also throw this in there just because even though we may need the 45 days, I still put that, so they can feel good, I guess, with us, and that we're flexible, that if the seller needs to close sooner, I'm sure that we can accommodate. And I throw in there, the buyers are well qualified, long-term W-2, buying much below their means, etc. That's how I send my offers. It's like a little template. Obviously, again, I varies client by client. I'll throw that in there. And I've always had great success with it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how I send my offers.
Can you show us, Livan,
Yeah.
That contract? What you're seeing now, guys? This
Yeah,
this is it.
This is it. I got this offer today on one of my listings. But the crazy part is, it's a full price offer, 800,000. But the crazy part is right here on additional terms. And this just shows you how the market is. In additional terms, in the event the property does not appraise, buyer agrees to pay up to $100,000 over appraised value, not to exceed the purchase price of 800. I've definitely seen, I thought 20,000 was crazy, but this definitely takes the cake. And I'm seeing this as a listing, and this is absolutely nuts. There's definitely money out there to be spent, and someone's willing to pay up to 100 grand if it does not come in at value.
That is crazy. So guys, another key thing I'll tell you, and if you're not joining the listing trainings and sticking through it and applying all those principles to get more listings, if you're a buyer's agent only and you're thinking this job like, oh my God, I'm gonna get Zillow leads and I'm gonna live my life and just work buyers on Facebook Marketing. If you're not working sellers, if you're not door knocking on the weekends, if you're not putting flyers in your neighbor's house, if you're not calling everybody to sell their home, you are gonna be outbeaten by a lot of desperate buyers. So if you control the inventory, if you control the listings, you control your paycheck. So make sure you're doing this. Make sure you guys are working on getting listings. So that being said, that's what you're competing against. So this is like, and Chris Delgado, you just have one right now too, right, Chris?
Well, not me. It was more Dave, but it was obviously out of our office. Very similar. It was up to 75K that they were willing to cover cash if the property didn't appraise. It was the ask price was 725. The offer was 775, and they were willing to. They waived their inspection as well at the same time, and then they went in and submitted an offer up to 75K over appraised value.
And they're from,
And they still got outbeat. Put it that way.
well, but and they have the mafia out there in Jersey, so they were send a wise guy, Italian guy. Hey, you need to take my offer out there, huh? So
And even Dave even upped his offer another $20,000 in the office this morning, and still someone beat that.
see, that is crazy.
Wow.
That is crazy. All right, hold on, Livan. Are you sharing something else? Share now, Livan.
I will. Let me jump into another thing that I use. I use.
Oh, show your follow-up, boss. If anything, you have it pulled up there so they can have an idea.
No. You see the leads.
Ooh, ooh.
I'm not gonna let you screen record the leads. You crazy?
That's true. You right.
Hey,
But
Sharon
that's-
is Karen, bro. Sharon is Karen.
Nah,
People screenshotting.
No, we have the feds in here. No. But I think they give you like a 14-day trial. I think everybody should try it out.
And
If
guys,
you don't like it, then cancel it.
and that 14-day trial, a lot of people reuse it, especially when they're Zillow, just to try it out. It's actually 30 days, I believe, Devon. Is it? Or 14? Are you sure?
I don't know. I'm not
It's
sure.
30 days.
I thought it was 2 weeks. But
No, it's 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks because Alicia was using it and it was 14 days. I just ended up buying it for 10 people, guys. It's well worth it. As an individual agent, like $150 a month. It's well worth it.
Even, if you're one person, I think it's $70
Okay.
or $65, something like that.
All right, what were you going to show us, Devon?
So I use Follow Bus, and Google Calendar is for me is I can't be without it. I have everything in there because if not I'll go nuts. I used to, if you look at our first Q&A, I used to do everything here and I can't anymore. I have everything put into my Google Calendar, like nonstop, to be able to keep track. And one thing that I do love about this, and my clients love, this, and especially the higher end clients, they do love when I send them, like, for example, let's see, let me find an example for you.
Look, number 17, move to condo. Ew.
Yes, tomorrow is not available. All right, so for example, like this, property showing, I send them, my clients, an invitation. I send them the property address, and this one I didn't do it, but I normally I do a print PDF of the MLS listing and I attach it onto the Google Calendar invite. So they have the listing printout with a calendar invite already there. So they have a copy of it. I think I've always gotten compliments on that my clients are like, wow, we really like how you work like that. And I think it works. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that.
All right. Thank you for sharing there. Livan, I want to open it up, guys. Okay, guys, continue typing your questions. When we run out of these questions, I want to respect everybody's time. Keep this one. These Q&As are usually a lot more straight to the point. I'm going to share a few things at the end. Hold on. Next. All right. So the question, Livan, you have, how do you handle rental leads from Facebook Marketplace? Maybe you don't answer them for yourself, but how your team that does more Facebook Marketplace. And I'm posting every day, but the problem is when I get messages, I'm having a contract and they mention the requirement of 3 times the rent. That's the stuff I answer. What are your recommendations, Livan, to convert more rental clients? What would you suggest?
Rental clients into buyers or rental leases?
Let me actually pull in somebody in here because he doesn't work Facebook Marketplace. His team may. And we'll come back to that question, Jesse. Frank Garcia says, how do you negotiate a deal with the seller when you're getting a listing? That's a great question. What's your negotiation terms? What are you doing on your listing presentation, et cetera, for sellers, Livan?
I will say that I mean, a lot of people will not like it, but I do not have a listing presentation. I show them the comps, I speak from the heart, and we secure the deal on the spot. I do not like, me personally, I do not like, we can have, the LIR presentation, listing presentation, but I personally do not like, to just read off of a computer. I'd rather just speak to them organically and tell them how it goes, and that's how I do it. As far as negotiating, like the commission, I always tell them the industry standard is 6%. I will get you the most money for the home. There's no doubt about it that it'll be worth every penny. Somebody asked, what is the lowest commission you will do? I have taken definitely 5% listings. There's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, obviously that's left for last resort. If we see they're not budging and I can secure the deal right there, we'll try to do 5.5 or 5%. But I stay pretty firm on the 6 or, the 5 if necessary.
Do you take listings or every type of listings?
Yes. Commercial, multifamilies, residential income, rental listings, for sale listings, we take everything. Tony, to answer your question, overpriced. It depends how far off it is, because I have had a few, or a little bit of overpriced, like this example, this $800,000 offer I just showed you. That's why the buyer is willing to pay 100 grand over, because it is overpriced at 800,000. But they poured so much money into the house that it makes it worth it, and that's the buyer is willing to pay for it. For sale signs, I get so many. My phone does not stop ringing. I get so many calls for my for sale signs on my fourplex that I have on 11th Avenue, 10th and 11th. It's 11th and 7th, close to downtown. My phone does I at least get 3 leads from that a day. That has converted into. We're working one right now. We just got pre-qualified for 2 million. We had another one that we're working with that's 3 million. We've gone to extent of, unfortunately, this one is not going through, but we've sat down with somebody that needs selling a building on Coral Way, the owner, and he has a 1031 exchange that he needs to spend up to 15 million. So Tony, yes, I will take all listings so long it's not ridiculously overpriced. If it's a little bit, we'll work it, just because it will generate so much more business. Now again, it can't be too ridiculous either, and if it is, at the end of the day, if you say no, somebody else is going to say yes to take the listing, and just think of it as lost revenue, not necessarily on that sale, but what could come from it. And if you see, if 2 weeks go by and you're not getting traction, you tell your seller the market is speaking for itself, that we are overpriced. And, at some point they will have to come to a price reduction.
And let me add on that. How we were doing the new agent orientation, me, Chris, in Jersey last Friday. And I'll tell you guys this, we're a very unconventional brokerage, which we do things that most won't do and legally and ethically, what I mean, but like the dirty work that people don't want to do, leases, purchases, working, everything. And I, as a broker, have zero ego for the brokerage and our leaders as well. Usually a brokerage, Tony, to answer your question, will not take an overpriced listing because it messes with their statistics, that they sell every listing that they get, that they turn it around in 20 days or 30 days. I know, again, if somebody's going to allow you to take their listings, again, don't go overly excessive, but if Chris tells me he wants to sell his house for 3 million and is only worth 1 million, what do I have to lose? I have a for sale sign in a $1 million house and I get lead generation. What do I have to lose if the house is worth 500 and they want 800? Look at this market. Somebody might say, that's a stupid offer, but there's always somebody who's willing to pay more. We create the problem with lower price home, 2, 3, 4, 5, 600,000 is that comparables do a lot of sale. But once you get into luxury market, you create that market. But worst case scenario, at least you're getting free buyers and they call you for that sign. You know what I mean? You'll find out buyers. So I'm okay, and I think you should, as long as it's in the ballpark of 20%. I would suggest. But I don't care about our statistics. I want you guys to make as much money as you possibly can. So to answer Livan, so he's right about that statement.
Yeah. Don't say. Honestly, again, if it's not too over, I wouldn't say no, just because think of it as potential commission that could come from that, from more business. And if they do not allow you to have a for sale sign, then absolutely not. I'm sorry, I'm not taking it. Don't waste your time. But I will definitely do the investment, and I will take on that for sure, so long as it's in range.
All right, question. Well, Roxette, first off, Roxette's question. I like your idea of being aggressive. She's like, if you're dealing with another realtor in a contract, how could you maybe snatch the owner? Or maybe if you could discuss the negotiation, you can't, Roxanne, once it's ethically, you can't go to an owner and say, hey, look, Livan's charging you 6%, let me do it for 5. It's against the ethics and you can't do it. So I mean, I don't wish you can, because that way it keeps everything sane. Now, if the listing's expired, hit them up and tell them, hey, let's get a better price. Let me do it. And you could get expired and terminate expires and cancel listings and fight for that. Another question, Livan, Frank had a good question. How do you do with a seller who has no contingency? For example, my buyer's approved for 600K, giving 35%. Seller wants 630, no appraisal contingency.
Unfortunately, sellers in this market are very, I mean, especially if they're educated on what's going on and how things are, that's going to be tough. This listing that I just showed you, this offer for 800,000. My seller is very firm that she knows what's going on. She knows what she's doing. In a way, she wanted 800,000. I'll give you the listing, but I want 800,000. We'll do 5.5%. Like she was telling me, I want to list it at 800,000, 5.5%, and no appraisal contingency. Well, okay, let's do it. We got the listing and we put the for sale sign outside. We've generated a bunch of leads from that. Our open house, we generated a few non-represented buyers from that. But you will have that case where, like my seller, the house will sell because we have that offer of 900, 800,000, 100K over. Plus we have another one at 805 non-contingent cash. But Frank, honestly, if the seller's very stubborn and you're representing the buyer, there's really not much you can do there. If your buyer is not willing to, it's a $30,000 difference. They are putting 35%. I would maybe, if they really, really want the house, then I would maybe see it with the lender to see if maybe they put 30% down and put that extra 5 above appraisal, or I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. But when you're in the buyer's agent situation, there's really not much you can do. Unfortunately, in this market, the seller does have the upper hand.
Livan, another question is, how do you handle a 2% offered by the listing agent? Like you have the buyer and they're offering 2%.
Once upon a time last year in the summer, I have sold, it was a 2% being offered to me. It was an owner agent. I told him if I got him a full price offer, which it was worth it. And the buyer was willing to do it. It's not like I didn't mean to, sound unethical there. But if we brought you a full price offer, which the appraisal came in fine, would you offer us a 3% to us and we'll get it done? The buyer was extremely qualified, and yes, we got it. We got the 3% and we closed at the full price and everything appraised. I don't know. I mean, if in this market, again, if you're being offered 2%, unfortunately, I mean, you really can't change it. It's in the listing agreement that the seller signed. In my case, it was an owner agent, and I guess she could be a little bit more flexible. Yeah, unfortunately that does suck, being offered 2%, but you're at the mercy of the seller and what the listing agent signed with that seller.
Yeah, that is true. There's not much you can do now in this market. You're right, Livan's right. If it's a market that the property's sitting for 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, which is not happening that often, unless it's super overpriced or you have a seller that doesn't want to sell, and that's the reason why it's on the market, it's very hard to counter. And a lot of agents, they're getting the 5% listing and keeping 3% for themselves and giving 2% to the buyer's agent. So sometimes you'll see on the closing disclosure that the other agent made more money, and there's not much you can do about that, guys. So guys, any other questions so we could wrap this up on the Livan Beck portion?
Rafael asks, do you get listings from prospecting or what percentage? No, I have not. And that's something that I have discussed with the team that I will be implementing this year. We have, right now we have 14 listings right now, total. And we're not hitting the neighborhoods as we should. We should be doing door knocking before the open houses. Noel did a great job this weekend, and he did that. But we haven't been doing that. And I feel like we could definitely take it to the next level by doing that. And prospecting, you know, we are selling in your neighborhood. Pablo the other day brought up a good idea on Instagram. He got like 14 offers on a listing, and he dried out Kendall's toner, but he brought out, you know, saying that, you know, going door to door, hey, we have 14 buyers that are looking for this neighborhood. You know, would you want to sell? And that's something that we haven't been doing. So I definitely want to start. We are going to definitely start prospecting more on listings. Okay, Isabel,
That's a good question.
how do you handle a seller who wants to reduce commission once listing agreement has been signed? I mean, once it's black and white, I mean, it's really black and white. It's signed, you know, if you signed a 6% and they're telling you Fulanito will do it for 4, I mean, I don't honestly, I don't even know. I don't even know how to answer that. You know,
Okay,
the listing agreement is signed.
it's actually after like the contract was already accepted, it was all signed, and all of a sudden he's like, we need to, you know, reduce your commission by one point.
Got it. And this is in your particular scenario?
Yeah. He
Okay.
didn't accept, he changes his mind all of a sudden. Everything was signed and everything.
And is he being aggressive about it, or do you think it could be resolved amicably?
I mean, it's already done. I mean, I had to basically, you know, not bump heads with him, but we had to take 1% off.
Mhm.
But it was just so hard because contract is accepted, everything is signed, and all of a sudden he's just like, nope, it's gonna be 5 now.
I definitely would have tried to stay more firm. I mean, I don't know what relationship you had with this client, but having a happy client is key, because at the end of the day, they could, you know, give you referrals and, you know, for the long run. But that is tough and an uncomfortable conversation and predicament. I probably would have tried to stay firm, especially, or try to come to some type of agreement. Like, what was his reasoning? Like, why would you want to change your mind? Were the numbers, you know, did you get him the list price? Are the numbers, his final proceeds, less than what he got or what he was thinking in his head? You know, one thing that I do for my sellers, so, and I would definitely, Isabel, try to do this with every sale. Ask your title company for an alta with based on the numbers on an offer that you're going to accept, with the exact closing date, the HOA amount, the prorated amounts for the taxes, the commission, so they have a good idea, you know, of pretty accurate ballpark of how much they're gonna net. So that's one thing as a listing agent that you do not want. That, okay, offer accepted, the seller signed it, and then you come to closing and, you know, the seller is getting $10,000 less than what they had pictured. So I definitely, before, as a listing agent, before we execute a contract, get them an alta. And with that, they can, you know, have a good idea of what, and that, I think if you would have probably done that, you wouldn't have been in that predicament.
Okay, thank you.
Can I share something? So Lifestyle Title of New World
see you?
provides, huh?
Can I see you?
No, you can see me. Lifestyle Title of New World provides us the system for you guys to run your pre-CDs, to run your seller's net sheets. You guys, I can literally email it to you guys, and you have free access to go on there and input all the information, download the PDF, go over it with your client. I'm always available as well if you need to, if you need a little bit more assistance. That's it. Plug over.
And she honestly could guide you through the as-is contract, and she does a great job. Jennifer Abreu with Lifestyle Title of New World. Thank you for all you do, Booski. Also, everybody's saying they can't wait till Homestead opens. So can't us.
Whoop, whoop. We're super excited too.
Jasmine as well. I'm gonna stay talking, guys. So I got some incredible announcements, but I just want to thank Livan Beck for taking time from his busy night. I know he's pre-moving, so he's probably putting boxes together when he reminded himself that he had a Zoom tonight. So thank you, Livan, for all you do, the leadership you provide, and the amazing person you are.
Thank you, George. It's a pleasure for real.